Hello everyone, and welcome to Unlocking the Power of QuickBooks Online for roofing companies, roofing contractors, and the foundation is very successful of running your roofing business by knowing your numbers. But today I thought some of you were very interested in how you set up QuickBooks Online. So now I thought I would go through how the beginning steps of it. So this is phase one, and I will be doing a series on it so I can take you through it step by step to make it super easy for you, and it's not hard to do it all. So, but some things I do want to mention. And the reason why we do the accounting and the accounting setup, and that's the first thing once you do enroll in QuickBooks Online. And I will also have a PDF with some notes on it of what I am talking about today, and then also detailed instructions of how to sign up for QuickBooks Online for roofing contractors particular. And so that will be over in our Roof for Profit Academy, and that is on school. And I love school, and so I do want to introduce you to that as well. We have an exclusive roofing community over there nationwide, so no matter where you live at, and it's not people, other roofing companies too that you are competing with or anything like that. But if there are two roofing contractors, in one town or whatever, we have plenty of work, so it's no problem at all either. But anyway, some of the reasons why you want to do this is to have your information, the name of your company, your federal ID number, all of that good stuff, in QuickBooks correctly, so it can flow through to the next screens that it needs to go to and automatically populate this information for you, so you don't have to re-enter anything. Once you get it set, it is set. The next thing is just tailoring your financial reports. So as we go through things, we're connecting things, all of that ends up then on your profit and loss. It ends up on your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, and a lot of other different reports, accounts receivable, that are in QuickBooks. So this really shortcuts the time that it takes to do your accounting. You can see the numbers that you need to see. You can see your accounts receivable. You've got payroll coming up. How much money you need to collect. So we want to use these numbers and things in QuickBooks to help us be wise and run our business. It's not the purpose of you just paying someone to do bookkeeping or you paying someone to do accounting. That is not the purpose of it whatsoever. We want to be able to use these numbers to build a strong and a powerful roofing company. And so we can be very wise by knowing our numbers. And the next thing is consistency and accuracy. So you do want to keep everything accurate, and a lot of times, when we're setting up our accounting and our settings, we can tell QuickBooks, let me know if I use the same invoice number twice. Let me know if I enter the bill twice. And these avoid a lot of errors that you could have and overpaying and just errors in your accounting and in your numbers. So that's how that works. And efficiency in operations. And it just gives you a smooth workflow to go through. As you can see on this page I have in QuickBooks, getting things done. So QuickBooks does give you some workflows here automatically. You can create your own too. I generally have a systematic blueprint workflow that I teach my roofing clients of how the workflow should look, and the simplest and the easiest. So we're only going through 3 or 4 steps, less than 5 steps, I can assure you on that. So everything syncs together. And then our user access and security. QuickBooks is really secure, and we're connecting our bank accounts or credit cards, but QuickBooks cannot get into your bank account or your credit cards. All we can see is the transactions that are coming through. Anytime you charge an item, then we can see, who that vendor was, and so we can put it to the correct expense or the cost of goods that goes to. And then just compliance and being tax ready. I'm a big believer of keeping your books tax ready all the time. If you need to give financial statements to a bank, that we have it all tax ready. It's reconciled every month and everything is good to go, because we're working on your numbers and your operations weekly. We're working on them every week. So it's a great idea. I have like a client that I work with every Wednesday. We meet on Zoom. He has 2 employees, and so I am teaching those employees how to do the accounting and how, to do payroll, how to do accounts receivable, how to sync with job numbers, how to sync with AccuLinks, Roofer, all of these things, how they flow into QuickBooks, and then how we process those. But the beginning steps is what I'm going to teach you and show you today, to have everything set up correctly. So the first one that we're going to go to, I'm here on Getting Things Done. So if we take and go over to our little gear icon, we call it, right here, then you'll see Settings List, Tools, Your Company, Settings. Today, this is what we're concentrating on, and this is Company Settings. So we'll click that. Give it a minute to upload for us. And I do thank all of you for watching my video today, and I do hope you're learning and I'm giving lots of value to you. That is really my goal, is to help you in your roofing company and help you be a lot more profitable. So here we have company, and so if we click on this little pencil here, you can upload your logo here so that it shows on your invoices and all your sales forms, estimates, purchase orders, and all of that kind of thing. So then you can put your company name. I just have Demo Roof for Profits, and then whenever you enter that, then you can click Save there. So this is kind of a demo, so don't be worried about any errors. You're not going to get those. And then your company address. See if we can get it to, we'll just put cancel there. Company address, we'll click on there, and then you would just put on your corporation paperwork or wherever your office is, then you would put your company address here. If you had a different address that you want the customers to see, then you can add a customer address, and then you could put that right there, okay? Or you could even add a legal address if it's something different. Your company email address, customer email address that you want it sent to, your company phone, your company website, all of that can show up. And when you enter this information, this is going to show up on your invoices. So if your customer wants to contact you, they have all the information right there. So on the customer email address, if you have someone that is handling your accounts receivable, be sure and put their email address there, okay? And then we'll move on down to our accounting method. And we have the choice of cash and accrual. Cash means all the money that we deposit into our banking account and all the bills that we pay. That's how QuickBooks is going to calculate our profit and loss. Now, if we choose accrual, QuickBooks won't calculate it like that. It will calculate how much money you have coming into your bank account, but also how much you have outstanding in accounts receivable. So some roofing companies, they do use cash, and some use accrual. Now, I do have a client that's with Breakthrough Academy, which is Profits First, and so they want all of their clients to be using accrual. But then some other smaller roofing companies, they just want cash in, cash out. That's what they want to see on their profit and loss. Okay? So we'll just cancel that. And then here is your federal ID number. So then what you can do is put in your federal ID number here. If you don't have a federal ID number, then put in your social security number there. Okay. And then our tax form, it can be a sole proprietor, it could be a partnership, small business, 1120 S corporation, corporation with one or more shareholders, nonprofit, limit liability. And if you're just not sure, put not sure. This isn't like a big thing here. Okay. And then also on the screen, okay. Sorry about that. Here, categories, we'll click that. Cancel. We'll click that. And we always, in roofing, we do want to track classes, have the ability to do that. And if you just click your little question mark, then QuickBooks will tell you a little bit about what that is. Okay? Adds class field to form so you can assign transactions to different segments like departments, location, and product lines. A lot of time I use the track classes for an expense that's overhead opposed to an expense that's cost of sales. So I like to, keep track of what's overhead and what's direct cost in the job that we're doing. So that's what I use it for. And then here, assign class, one to each row in transaction. That is typically what you're going to use. Okay. You can track locations. Say that you're in Texas. Maybe you're going to track it by, territory. Like if you're in Dallas and Austin and Houston, you do roofing all over the place, then I think the territory gives you some great information. Like when you run a profit and loss, you can see then what territories you're doing the best in of, where your profits are in each one of those territories. So that's what we're going to be using our numbers for. Now for your customer label, you can call a customer. You could call them a client, a donor, a guest, a member, a patient, a tenant. But in our situation, we would either say a customer or client. I believe most of you in roofing, like I was, you use customer. So that's what we would use there. Okay. So then that's all it is to our company, but those are some really important steps to get it all set up correctly so it auto populates, so you're not always putting this information in. Saves you a lot of time and money. And then we'll click notifications. Okay. Here, never miss a work date. New assignments to your project task will be sent to and whatever emails you want. So if you click on your little pencil there, you can new assignments. You can check all of these things or none of these things, whatever you want to do. And then it would get sent to this email right here. Okay. So that is what that is taken care of, but we'll cancel that. Now we'll go to payments. Now, if you want to receive payments with QuickBooks Online, now some of you roofers that are on AccuLinks or Job Nimbus, you may receive payments through either one of those systems or even on Roofer or Notify or, any of the CRMs. You may receive payments that way. But if you aren't receiving payments on that third-party app, then here you can apply for a merchant account with QuickBooks, and I believe they charge about 4% for credit cards. Most of the time, we accept payments through ACH, and so the fee is much, much lower for that. But for roofing, because sometimes our checks are like really large, I would either be, picking up the checks or something like that, if it's like a huge amount of money. So like, over $10,000, then I definitely would be, just picking up the check for that. But you can manage the account here. This is kind of an old account that I had, so I just have it set up in here. And so QuickBooks goes into that. Click continue. And then here, this is your payroll processor right here. So in your processing tools, you can in here charge a card, reverse a transaction, all of these different things, just like through Stripe or any other software program like that. Okay. But you can go in here. What I use this for is like go to transactions, and then I can put in, say that I want to do last week, and then I can search to see what deposits that I did have in my account and what is pending and what is going through. Okay, so we'll close out of that, but that is what that is like. And you can run deposit reports, see transaction details as you see there. Okay, and the standard speeds credit cards, you get it faster 1 day. Bank transfer is 1 to 5 days. And with bank transfers, what you actually do, you send your customer an invoice, and they will enter in their routing number, their bank account number, their telephone number, so you don't have to store any of that information. So that part I do really love. Okay, and then our standard deposits, we can put, like what bank account that we want this going into, and then if you want to change it, you can click change, and then you can start entering a new bank account, a different one. Okay, and then QuickBooks connects that, and that's where your money is deposited into. And then here you can have your business owner's information, so you would have all of that information. You want to change it, just remember always just to click your pencil there. If you need to change any of that. And then here, payment dispute protection, if you wanted to get involved in that, you can see all the details on that. Okay, and you'll get to this QuickBooks checking. This is something I don't really care for with QuickBooks, but if you do want QuickBooks checking, then you may add up, you can sign up to that with QuickBooks Online. Look at their options and see if it's a fit for you. I just like my local bank. I actually, with QuickBooks, I use Wells Fargo. Bank of America syncs really well. Great, Plains Capital does. Capital One does. American Express does. So there are a number of banks there's very few banks that don't sync with QuickBooks, put it that way. But in saying that, sometimes you do have to go log on to your bank's website and go to the special options there, and to let your bank know that you want to sync with QuickBooks Online. Okay, so now we'll go to sales. And sales, you can customize your forms however you want your invoices looking. You can click customize look and feel. And then these are a couple that I have set up here, but you can do new styles also. An invoice, estimate, sales receipt, whatever you want to do. So we'll just click on this one. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but we'll click on that one and see. But here, as you see, you can have all your information. All of this comes from where we just put in our company information. It auto-populates there. And then, your sales receipt date. This is kind of just like, how it would look. All of this information populates automatically, and we can set this up as well. Okay? But if you wanted to change something, you could dive in with templates. You could choose a different one. Just click change template, whichever one that you like. I do kind of like this area one here, especially for roofing, estate, activity, the rate, and so on. But you could, choose that. And you can make your logo edits on here as well, where you could hide the logo if you wanted to, if you want it larger, small, medium, the placement of it. Just depending on where you want it. You could do that. If you want to splash some color, say that you want it purple, then you could do that. If you want it blue, if you want it green, so on. And then you can actually choose your fonts that you want to. You could choose like a Times New Roman. You could do that. But any of those things. And then for your content, you have this block, and you can change all of this information in here. So you would just click edit, and then over here you would just type in whatever you want it to say. Or if you don't want it to show, your email, then you could unclick that, and it's not going to show your email. Or address. Address here, say you don't want it to show your address, then you would unclick that. Okay? So that's a little bit how that works. And then your emails. And then this is good, how your sales receipt, full details, PDF attached. I love the PDF attached. That works really well. But you can write in here exactly what you want to say to your customer. You can edit all of this. Okay, so if we go back to our content too, like in this block, you can edit here, however you want it. Product, service, include description here. You can do that, and it looks a little bit different. Category, if you do want a category on it. Quantity, rate, amount, and if you did want a SKU, you could even add that to it as well. So those are some things you could do there. And then this last block where it shows how much is due, then you could, edit any of this information, add a footer, centered, however you would like that. So we'll X out here. So those are our custom forms there. Let me get back. When you do these, they'll take you back to just custom forms, but just go back to company settings, and we'll continue on. Let's see, we were on sales. Okay. Now that was your invoices, and then your sales form content, preferred invoice terms. You can click this button to choose what you want it to default to. You can even add a new one. So you could say due in 30 days, due by a certain day of the month, due the next month of issued one within that. And so you could just say like net 30. And then we could save that. Okay. And then we don't need to put anything for delivery method or shipping. That wouldn't be anything we needed. We don't need custom transaction numbers. We want QuickBooks just to go to the next number in sequence. We do want it to show on our invoice our service date, any discount we may offer. You have where you can add deposit on there. You can accept tips. You can put tags. We don't really need that, any tips, but I'm just going to cancel that anyway. And then your invoice payments, you'll see them once you're approved to receive credit cards and ACH. These are all the payments types that you could accept. Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, Discovery, American Express, ACH, all of that cool stuff. So that is great. And then your products and services. You want to go through this and show products and services columns on your invoice. We don't need price rules unless you do want that. track quantity and price rate, track inventory on hand. We don't generally track inventory for roofing. In some occasion that you want to, it is there for you to do that. And in roofing, we aren't doing revenue recognition, but if for some reason you are, doing revenue recognition, then you would turn that on, which means that you received a deposit from a customer and say that project is going to last 3 months to a year, and then with that deposit money every month you would be allotting a certain percentage of it to recognized income. But that's a little advanced feature there. And late fees, you can turn that on and off. Just always remember, just click your button over here and you can change that. Progressive invoicing for roofing, yes, I do, keep that on. So that is a good thing. But once you turn progressive invoicing on, you cannot turn it off. So be sure that you want that, okay? Messages on your sales forms. You can make this up however you want to. It can be to full name, last name first, company name, display name, whichever one that you want. You can use a standard message. You can then type in whatever you want here. All of that is editable for you. If you need someone copied every time an invoice is sent out, you would paste their email address right here, or a blind copy. Estimate, whatever you want on an estimate. And then reminders. You can set up invoice reminders if you want. Our statements are on. So that's pretty much the sales part. And this will be critical to you in the roofing business of getting this sales set up, because this is really important in the roofing company. And then we would go to expenses. And here we can click this button, a little pencil. Show items table on expenses and purchase order forms, yes. Show tags, we want to enable that so we can use that if we want to. We don't have to. Track expenses and items by customer. Sometimes you would track it and sometimes not. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't be tracking that by customer. Make expenses and items billable. Do not make these billable. You will have a lot of errors in QuickBooks if you do that. So we'll just click cancel there. Purchase orders, yes, we have those cut on, and you do need purchase orders with the roofing company. So, and you can make your message here. You can use custom transaction numbers if you want to. So we'll cancel that. And then your messages, your default message on your purchase order. Say you're sending it to a contractor. See if I can get there. Go. And you can always put to. I don't use do. So, and then you might just want to use their first name, first and last name there. And then you can write in here, whatever you want to tell them. Please see attached purchase order. Let me know the date that you can start this roof, so on and so forth there. Then you can copy anybody you want to, blind copy like before, okay? And then some of you might be using QuickBooks for time. And so if you are in time tracking, you can use the time tracking. First day of the week, it could be Sunday, it could be Monday, it could be Wednesday, whatever yours is, okay? And then customize your timesheets to show services, class, and whether time is billable. If you want to do that, then you can do all of those things there, okay? And we don't have a chaos, so, but if you want your employees to use tablets, then you could, look into that. I haven't used that before, so I don't have any roofing companies that are using that right now. So, and then let's go over to advanced, and here are accounting We can change any of this with our little pencil here. First month of the fiscal year, January. The income tax year, January. The method, you would choose cash or accrual. Close the books. I never close the books, so just leave that open. If you close the books and you try and change something, you cannot change it because the books are already closed. Then our chart of accounts. This is really important here to help keep your income and expenses, your cost of sales, your assets, your liabilities organized. You want to enable your account numbers. Make sure that's green. Make sure it says show account numbers. And then your discount general ledger account, and then a tips account if you're using those things. Okay? And this is like our chart of accounts, which we will be getting into later, but just for now, you don't need to put anything on discount or tips there. Okay? And then our automation we get here, pre-fill forms with previously entered content. I keep that on. Like if I'm putting in an ABC bill, it'll show me all of the last category and expense category. So all I need to do is change some content there and the price. Automatically apply credits. Always keep this off. Automatically invoice unbilled activity. Always keep that off. You want to do those things more manually. Automatically apply bill payments. You want to keep those off as well. Some things you don't want to automate in accounting because you want to take a look at it first, before you're paying things. And then we do have projects, so that is on. If you don't have Job Nimbus or AccuLinks, then you can use project job costing in QuickBooks. And then this is our currency if you need to change to Mexico or anything like that. This business network, it just allows you to find other people that are using QuickBooks Online. That's not an important thing there, And then your date format, how you want it to look. I mean, it could look, like different, whichever way you want it. Month, day, year, or day, month, year, any of those, that is familiar to you. And this is a good currency format. That's what I use, but if you wanted it any of these other ways, then you could choose those. Now here, this is important. Warn if duplicate check number is used. Warn me when I enter a bill number twice, so that's good. Warn me if I duplicate a journal entry is used. You can also click that on. That's helpful. And then sign me out for, if inactive, for I make it to the max 3 hours. I don't want QuickBooks to sign me out like every hour if I'm just not doing something in QuickBooks, because I could be working in another, Job Nimbus, AccuLinks, Roofer, or whatever, and so I'm trying to see what's in QuickBooks. And then warn me if I enter a quantity or rate outside my usual range, which is helpful. No big thing, but it is helpful. So, but that's all it is to setting up your account and settings. We will be going over some of these other, areas here as well. But for today, I just wanted to dive into that and show you that.